Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jorge Castillo here with Dylan Hernandez and Bill Shakin. After Game 4 of the National League Division Series, the Washington Nationals beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 6-1 to stave off elimination. Game 5 at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers might be in trouble. Steven Strasburg's pitching. It could be over on Wednesday.
It really could, and it's a great regular season with a record number of home runs for the Dodgers, 106 victories, a franchise record. And it's all going to come down to one game, the kid Walker Buehler on the mound. They did get a couple of advantages here, right, going into this game. I mean, they are on their home field, where they led the National Leagues in home victories. And to the fact that they did not have to use Kershaw, whereas, so Kershaw will be available to come in relief, kind of, behind Walker Buehler. Whereas the Nationals, Patrick Corbin's going to be theoretically available in a similar role, but he threw 35 pitches in that disastrous sixth inning yesterday. So, they've kind of, over the course of this series and maybe over the course of the season, I guess you could say, kind of built up these small advantages. But you're right, this could end disastrously on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's one of those things you mentioned. It's a marathon and it's coming down to a sprint, and things are falling in place for the Nationals. Like, they needed to rely on their starting pitching, and tonight Max Scherzer gave them exactly what they needed.
And that's exactly what they'll need to do on Wednesday at Dodger Stadium. In fact, Scherzer tonight, somebody asked him, hey, can you give an inning? Everybody else gives an inning among the National starters. And he said, I'm gassed. There's no way I'm giving an inning on Wednesday. So it's basically going to be Strasburg for 7 or 8, Doolittle and Hudson. Everybody else, just go sit in the stands. We do not want to see you pitch.
Yeah, I can barely name anybody else in the Nationals bullpen. I mean, they're not really using anybody. You saw Doolittle tonight. Who else do you see? Hudson. We saw Hudson. Yeah, Scherzer threw 109 pitches. He got out on a bases loaded jam there in the 7th inning. And in the Dodgers, you mentioned Buehler. It's going to be interesting to see, how short of a leash to have for him if he comes out there just kind of revving it up, amping it up, and kind of like a bullpen appearance, knowing that Kershaw's behind him to kind of piggyback, and also all these other guys they have in the bullpen who they trust.
Right. And so here's the thing, right? Is that this whole, and this has been the case the whole series. The Nationals have a very small margin for error, right? The guys that you mentioned, and let's even say throw Corbin in there for argument's sake. If any of these guys come into the game, they have to pitch well. There's kind of no, right? Whereas, Joe Kelly comes in, let's say for the Dodgers, sails a couple balls to the backstop, well, they can go to another guy at that point, The Nationals kind of don't have that advantage. So I think just from that standpoint, I still kind of favor the Dodgers. But, obviously the Dodgers, just with everything that they've accomplished, against the backdrop of this just disastrous television deal that's entering year who knows what now, I think there's a lot of pressure for them to win and deliver this championship that, right, it's 31 years now since the last World Series. I mean, I was 8 years old. Were you even born?
No. No, I was not.
Yeah, I talked to Ryan Zimmerman, the National first baseman, before the game, and he was talking about, I said, the Dodgers, all they hear is 1988. Well, all the Nationals hear is, Jorge knows, he used to work here, the Nationals never get out of the first round. And I asked, well, can you appreciate the accomplishment of just getting to the playoffs so often? Because as fans of so many teams know, they just don't ever get in the playoffs. It's hard to do. And he said, well, we can talk about it, but fans hate it when we mention that. You got to win.
The big news also for Game 5, the return of Bill Plaschke.
Yes.
So,
is that guaranteed? Is that?
I think so. He says he's going to pick up also the. Actually, he will be back before Game 5.
Okay, yes.
He's taking the column, the off-day column. He says he will write it. So, readers, you do not have to worry about reading me another day. You can read Bill Plaschke.